Before every forensics tournament, often way too early in the mornings, in unheated buses or in questionably sanitary hotel rooms, I was reminded to represent Danville High School the best way I knew how, by being told by our coaches to be Danville. Most of my time on the team, I thought it was a cute slogan spoken by Steve Meadows to sound cool. And I was also a little intimidated by them because his words hold a particular weight that scares me. But it was only when he left that I truly felt their weight. What does it really mean to be Danville? I didn't know the answer, and given we're in the middle of a global pandemic and are being thrust into a world unprepared for us, I think us seniors can say, all of us for that matter, that uncertainty sucks and it is scary. We do not know what our future has in store for us. We do not know what tomorrow has in store for us, or if the store is open, because we have no sense of time or the correct updated corona hours. We don't know our destinations, but whoever said the journey is what matters is just about the wisest person alive. I forget who said it. I think it was Miss Branson. So what has that journey looked like for the class of 2020? What has it meant to be Danville to us for the past 12 years? We all started as tiny humans in kindergarten classrooms who were introduced to many of the people we would grow up with and grow from our entire school careers. Coach Dunn would be happy to show you proof of this version of us on any given day, week, or occasion. We dreamt about being monsters and aliens and astronauts, but let open minds and open hearts lead us to become amazing, unique people we never even dreamed of becoming. We lost our voices cheering for one another on the sidelines and found our voices on stages, in classrooms, groups, and clubs. We fought back against prejudice and racism, whether by using those voices to speak out against it or wear hats to silently remind ourselves and the broader world that we love and respect every person no matter their age, ethnicity, background, or personal struggles. That when we fight together. We have supported each other not only despite our differences, but because of them. We made the mistakes that have made us who we are, yet we have not let them define us. We experienced and learned not just content in textbooks, but what it means to be a human, to be a person, and to strive to be a better one each and every day, whether that be in adversity or in Gravely Hall, because slouching is just so offensive. Please don't slouch, because it is obviously a sign of very poor character and posture. And yes, we've also lost a lot because of circumstances that are out of our control, but we have gained so much more. Perspective, insight, integrity, kindness, tolerance, perseverance, and hope. Our journey has not been a simple or easy one, but the best journeys never are. They don't have predictable endings, because if they did, they would not be stories worth telling. And Miss Branson would definitely not make you read them and analyze them until you have a mental breakdown at 3 a.m. To live purposeful and worthwhile lives, we have to use what we've learned in the halls of DHS and do the best we can with our kindergarten memories and the lessons we've learned in and out of the classroom. As lifelong admirals, we are a part of something greater than ourselves. We are equally important parts of a family that is and always will be our home. We can never lose sight of our dreams, even if they change. We can never forget to fight for the people we care about, to be strong when the world tries to break us down, to expect the unexpected, to be kind and respectful, to not let imminent failure stagnate imminent success, to not let numbers and test scores determine our value, to stand together when everything else around us is falling apart. To listen to our hearts rather than the noise of those who don't understand them. To use our voices to stand for those who aren't heard. To make fun of the pride posters in the halls that we think are really dumb, but they're also really true. And to never let anyone tell us that we are less because we are different. And to be courageous in our journeys, to be exactly who and where we are meant to be, even when the destination seems uncertain, because that is what it means to be Danville.
When deciding a quote for my senior spotlight this year, I was torn between two options. In the end, I inevitably decided to go for the arguably more horrid, yet infinitely more comedic option of, "God gave me anxiety because if my ambitions went unchecked, I would have bested him in hand-to-hand combat by age 16, which is, objectively, just a fact. And right now, as I'm giving this speech I never expected I'd have to compose, I'm immensely glad I decided to shoot for that paltry attempt at cheap humor back then, so that now I can use my second choice without feeling like too much of a cheat who only knows one quote. The other, more melancholy, less ripped straight from Tumblr quote I'd considered claiming as my own is one that gave me the perspective to mature when I needed it most. A quote that taught me how to grow up, move forward, and not only realize, but achieve my goals. And whether or not we all know it, we could all use a bit of that perspective right now. You can't start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. Again, I will reiterate for the people in the back. You cannot start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. Well, now it's time for our obligatory congratulations. We've made it to the end of one chapter, our exposition, if you will, and now it's time to begin again. No rereading, no dwelling. Sure, it sounds impossible to just move on from all the times where we flipped Miss Branson's photos upside down until she had to scream at us, where we clapped for the band captain every single day in physics until our hands burned red, where we had to listen to those never-ending streams of Admiral Foghorns during each assembly, and where I did literally everyone's chapter questions for AP World in sophomore year. The prospect of continuing without lingering seems beyond impossible, especially considering our unique and unfortunate circumstances. But we have reached this point in our life where we have to move forward. Don't get me wrong, we can always look back on the memories we made here and smile, look back on those memories and cringe, but there is so much more sitting on the horizon, just waiting to blanket us in its warm embrace and carry us to the futures we all know we can achieve. And we can achieve a lot. After all, we're graduating today, aren't we? Of course, we couldn't have made it this far without our wonderful teachers and staff who have developed quite the hearty knack for putting up with our inane BS over the years. I would thank every single teacher sitting in this audience if I had the time, but we were urged to keep these speeches relatively short, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to cut the list down to just a few of my own personal highlights, beginning with Miss Calvert, the most wonderful soul who began it all for me all the way back in 8th grade, where Mr. Carney had to shuttle me from Bait just so I could take the class that first sparked my love for biology. Yours was the class that inspired me to delve even further into the world around us, to pursue a degree in biochemistry and molecular biology next fall. I can only hope to one day match your passion for the sciences and education. Kramer, for everything you've taught me, both in class and during my time with the academic team, I suppose I am obligated to tell you, though I am still a little bit bitter you didn't hang up an honorary Calculus BC belt for me this year. But no mind, I will never forget the difference between alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes ever again, nor will I ever be able to forget just truly how bad I am at Hantus, and that's all thanks to you. Miss Pierce, though I only had you as a teacher and a coach for 1 year, a year cut short at that, I'm immensely glad I had the opportunity to get to know you, to have you proofread literally every single one of my college application essays, and to share those wonderful coffee and pastry reading days with you and the rest of our AP Lit class. For such a short time, it truly was magical. Mr. Johnson and Carp, thank you 1,000 times over for dealing with our absolutely horrid AP classes, for taking the leap when no one else wanted to. Mr. Johnson, I hope you can overlook our immediate resolution to call you TJ on your very first day here at Danville High School. And Carp, I hope you never forget that we spent an entire day in AP Physics debating over whether or not Vector from Despicable Me is fat. Miss Branson, the infamous Scary Terry herself, I want you to know that we are all beyond grateful for everything that you've taught us about literature and about life, particularly that the two aren't so different after all. You taught us how to breathe magic into words, how to analyze F. Scott Fitzgerald's writing better than literally anyone else alive on this planet, and most importantly, you taught us to read the damn handouts. And to all of the other wonderful teachers who I failed to mention today, who I failed to acknowledge by name, I hope that you never forget that you mean the world to me and the rest of the class of 2020. And now, for my classmates, for the call to action. I must say, yes, I've been making light of us as a class of troublemakers and downright hooligans, but it would be an insult and an injustice to ignore the fact that we are infinitely more than those simple labels. We're the class of 2020, forever destined to go down in the history books as the heroes who survived a pandemic, as the class who had some of the most pivotal moments in our lives unjustly ripped from us, yet we, nevertheless, persisted. We're the class who graduated against all odds, who entered our senior year expecting cheesy, lame 2020 vision jokes and left with this lingering atmosphere of the apocalypse. The future breathes not only for us, but because of us. And it is that breed of power, that capability for change that we possess, that is too important to forgo and waste by dwelling on moments long gone by. The next chapter of our lives begins today, and as valedictorian, I urge each and every one of you to dive into that chapter wherever it may take you, without fear and without hesitation. We are the Danville High School graduating class of 2020, and to that, I can only say one final thing. Go Ads.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Honestly, I'm not sure when you'll be seeing this. Hello, DHS faculty, staff, community members, family, and of course, the class of 2020. I'm honored to be able to speak to you all at this unique time in our lives. Can I just start off by saying how one of a kind this class is? We constantly scared off new administration and teachers. I mean, come on. We had 3 principals in our 4 years of high school. Thank goodness we finally got it right this year. We were the first class to not have A and B days, the first class without backpacks, and the first class to wear all blue at graduation. We were forced to eat silent lunches at Bate Middle School, not to mention in the dark. It goes without saying we're a pretty unique class, and the situations we've encountered have been crazy and unexpected. We seniors have learned the hard way. We can't prepare for everything, but we can adapt. Think about it. We survived the worst internet memes and trends. We obsessed over fidget spinners, hoverboards, and water bottle flipping. We overplayed Bad and Bougie, Mo Bamba, Young, Dumb, and Broke, and Old Town Road. We survived all the challenges. The Ice Bucket Challenge, the Mannequin Challenge, the Bean and Boozled Challenge, and the Cinnamon Challenge. We parallel parked in our intermediate test and finally got a spot in the back parking lot. We survived it all. And not only did we survive it, we enjoyed it. We literally hid carrots all over our school last year. And let's be honest, that was hilarious. We survived the smell of tar each morning as we entered the building and enjoyed the beautiful view of buckets collecting water in the hallways. We stood together in our walkout for school safety awareness and our hat protest, and we celebrated winning the football state championship. We'll hold on to these memories, and probably even a bit tighter now. And in the midst of a worldwide pandemic, we still managed to graduate. Regardless of what stood in our way, we made it through. We are now finished with AP testing, CERT, and the ACT. There were hard times and struggles, challenges and breakthroughs, successes and triumphs. My point is, DHS helped mold us into the people we are now. This class holds many extraordinary people. Talented artists, gifted musicians, strong athletes, governor scholars, and a National Merit semifinalist, hardworking employees, upcoming first-generation college students, creators of new teams and clubs. Our class is a diverse community of leaders full of amazing stories. We have suddenly lost what barely began in our final days as a senior class and are now being faced with an uncertain future. Some of us will no longer be attending campus and instead will be taking classes online this fall. Some of us don't know if college is even affordable anymore. These are all realities we are facing. But I don't have to tell you what we've lost. We all feel what we have lost. So let's shift the conversation and look at something we've gained. We have learned that nothing in life is just given. We have learned how to persevere and rise above. Our world has quickly become a much more unpredictable place, and it will always be different from the world when we walked into DHS as freshmen. But we are the first class to be a part of this new life as 2020 graduates. The world's future is in our hands. This class has accomplished so much, and I cannot wait for us to do even more beyond the walls of Danville High School. We are about to enter the world in the most challenging time anyone could ever imagine. We cannot wait around for things to go back to normal. This is our time. Let's create our new normal and make it what we want it to be. Anything is possible now. And the class of 2020 has proven that we can be knocked down, but we will always rise up. We are leaving a legacy, a footprint at Danville High School. Absolutely nothing can take away our achievements and the memories we've created together. We have made it 12 years and are going to continue excelling in our communities and nation. This is not the end, it's just the beginning. Let's always remember the good times and hold on to the memories we made walking the halls of DHS. Congratulations to my fellow 2020 graduates. We did it. Let's run this back in December in person. Not everyone gets to do this twice. Go Ads and anchors away. Thank you.
To be consistent with the year we've had, this 8-minute speech will now end immediately, somewhere around 5 minutes, and the rest will be sent home in packets, which can be picked up on Proctor Street at the end of this ceremony. Thank you. Welcome to a very 2020 version of a commencement. Online, alone, but somehow still together, kind of. When I imagined this speech, I wanted to capture DHS as the special place that it is. When things end suddenly, we reflect on what's gone. We revisit that place where we feel like we belong. For me, that means walking into Coach Mason playing music and Mr. Bowman dancing, passing a favorite substitute teacher in the hall and asking someone who they're filling in for. Upstairs, Miss Calvert and Miss Murray are drawing smiley faces on people's hands. Miss Trevino is yelling good morning to everyone, and Mr. Salee is just trying to stay awake. After first period, you pass Mr. Kramer on the way to his copy machine. You see a custodian helping someone open their locker. You overhear a student asking Mr. Meadows how many Yodas he actually owns, and you run into Miss Gooch and, of course, Pet Addie. After second period, you walk into Coach J's room and get a huge hello and smile as if she's not going to see you again at 4 o'clock like she has every other day for the past 5 years. You might ask Officer Ray or Broach how their day is going, and they may tell you about the kids that got stuck in the elevator that week. I'm not going to say any names, but many of us know that story. After third period, you peek into Mr. Johnson's class and ask how he and his dogs are doing. You hear Miss McCallum playing Spanish music down the hall, smell goodies that Miss Arnold has baked for her class, and spot Coach Moe walking around like he isn't exactly sure where he's headed. Lunch comes around. The cafeteria ladies are serving everyone meals. Coach Clev is standing at the door, pretending like he enjoys watching over our lunch period, where many people happen to be conversing about carrots. After lunch, you swing by the office to visit Mr. Huffman and Miss Miller, who are babysitting Izzy. You try to talk to Miss Walker and Miss Hawkins in between phone calls, but since they're so busy, you resort to trying to go get candy from Coach Dunn's office. While sneaking out, you pass Mr. Bandura and he proceeds to tell you a joke that you don't understand, but laugh at himself anyways. You might pass Miss Branson walking to the bathroom with a student on her hip begging for easier quizzes. Mr. Otto and Miss Pierce laugh together while Miss Myers is updating the boards in the hall, and Miss Albright is just trying to figure out who has the yearbook camera. After fifth period, you head up to see Cisco grading chapter questions and Mr. Stevenson being questioned about his Tesla. Mr. Carpenter is getting hip to new music from students, and Coach V is talking about kids to track, no matter how far off the season is. As the final period of the day goes by, everyone hears Mr. Springs yelling 50 cents downstairs and rushes for snacks. Before the day is done, you visit Miss Eason in the library because she always has something new and interesting to talk about. On your way, Miss Stinnett compliments your haircut that you thought no one else noticed. The hallways of DHS are one of my favorite places. Coach Dunn and Mr. Bandura can attest to this. When you find such a seemingly ordinary place turn into something you treasure, it is hard to not ask why. Why is Danville High School so important? Because this is a place where marching to the beat of your own drum is encouraged. As a small school, we have power because of the way we combine individuality and togetherness. This is why I treasure this place, the people, and these memories so much. Some might say the class of 2020 should have been prepared for the unexpected. We have lived through bears running loose in Danville, reports that clowns were living in the woods, and rumors that the purge was underway in Louisville. However, nothing could have prepared us for the heartbreaking end to this year. We adapt, and I knew we would get through it. The Danville schools has been a backdrop for my whole life. From my amazing times at Jenny Rogers, just trying to get as many AR points as I could, to my awkward times at Bait getting dress coded every day, these experiences have shaped me into the person I am, and I could not be more grateful. I want to say thank you to DHS for everything. Nights cheering on classmates, sporting events, the legendary talent show, clubs and extracurriculars that ensured that everyone had a place, intercessions, the classes that taught me more than just lessons for school. Being student body president has helped me see how much all the kids at DHS really care about school and how everyone wants to voice their opinion. I thank you all for trusting me to be your voice. I want to say a very special thank you to our principal, Mr. Elmore. He has put his whole heart into Danville this year and has been amazing. There is no one else I would trust to handle this mess the way that he has. This is so much more than just a school. This is my second home. No matter if you are an administrator, parent, student, alumni, or just someone who cares enough to tune into this video, on behalf of all of us, I say thank you, because you have impacted the class of 2020 significantly. In this time, it is very easy to see that nothing is guaranteed, but I can assure you that when life gives the class of 2020 lemons, we will know how to make the best lemonade. I am proud to be part of the most memorable class in school history, but we will soon be known for much more, because this class is full of world changers. Thank you all again, and one last time, Coach Dunn.
Go Ags!
And please, don't forget those packets.